I don't understand how you say you love your country at the same time as you normalize this convicted felon, which I can say now every day.
Words help me out here. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of gray.
Carrie Underwood is making you look like a bunch of boys.
Carrie Underwood was never the kind of star you'd expect to find in the middle of a raging political battle. She'd built her empire with a golden voice, a wholesome persona, and a reputation for embracing everyone, no matter where they stood on the issues. Yet one simple decision put this once untouchable country queen under a spotlight she'd never asked for. Suddenly, the same people who cheered her name at sold-out concerts were calling her a sellout. How did one of America's sweethearts trigger such fury? And why did her bold performance at inauguration unleash an avalanche of insults, threats, and calls for cancellation? It all started with a prestigious invitation, an offer to sing at the inauguration. For many artists, that's a dream gig. You stand before the entire nation, singing your heart out while the country watches history unfold. It's the kind of moment that can elevate a performer's career to legendary status. Carrie Underwood, known for hits that resonate with fans across
some are calling for her to be boycotted and canceled. John Rich weighed in, saying there are several top-tier country artists who support Trump, and I wish they'd finally have the balls to come forward and be counted. Ain't nothing outlaw about keeping your mouth shut to appease the record label.
Every demographic seemed like a natural choice. Everyone presumed she'd belt out a patriotic anthem flawlessly, share a brief smile, then gracefully exit the stage. Instead, the second she said yes, an onslaught of condemnation swept through social media. Fans suddenly took sides. Some praised her for staying true to her patriotic roots. Others unleashed a barrage of accusations, calling her complicit in what they labeled a disgraceful administration. But that was only the beginning. To understand why this blew up so fiercely, you have to know Carrie's background. She didn't launch her career stirring up controversy or ranting on political platforms. She was discovered by millions on a singing competition, winning hearts with her authentic humility and jaw-dropping vocal talent. Then came the record-breaking singles, the Grammys, the sold-out tours. Through it all, she sidestepped the tabloid drama that cripples many celebs. No messy feuds, no bizarre stunts, no political lectures. Her brand thrived on genuine likability. Fans admired her for being kind, focused, and respectful of her audience. She always seemed uninterested in the mudslinging that other celebrities embraced for quick publicity. That's why her choice to perform for a penny shouldn't have been earth-shattering. She'd always said she loves her country and respects moments that unite people. Yet when critics labeled her performance as normalizing a convicted felon, her image of flawless neutrality took a beating. And so began the wave of outrage. Suddenly, daytime talk show panels, often jokingly called the spewers by frustrated viewers, turned Carrie Underwood into their main target. One host fumed, "How can you love your country and support someone who wants to tear it down?" Another claimed, without blinking, that Carrie was helping to normalize a convicted felon. The accusations surfaced relentlessly, framing her as some puppet of the administration. Within hours, social media raged with terms like traitor, sellout, and it didn't matter that Carrie's public statement talked about unity and hope. Rage overshadowed any mention of bridging divides. Trolls called for a boycott of her music, demanding radio stations pull her songs from playlists. They insisted that no matter how sweet her voice might sound, her choice was unforgivable. But they weren't the only ones stoking the flame.
It is country music. I think
I'll tell you right now, I wouldn't do it, even though I can't sing.
You would not sing?
No, I would not. I would not normalize him. And she says, I love our country. How do you love your country and support and normalize somebody who was a convicted felon who really wants to destroy the country, in my opinion? I don't understand how you say you love your country at the same time as you normalize this convicted felon, which I can say now every day.
A lot of my family voted for Trump. They love the country and vote for him. I think that people make these decisions for a lot of reasons.
Okay, fine. And I would not be the person to say don't do it, because I believe in free speech and everything about it. I personally would not do it. No one's asked me, but that's another story.
I would love for you to do a roast at the Trump inauguration.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, no one else had any
So
thought?
there we are.
One of the most surprising twists came from fellow country star John Rich. Instead of piling on with the critiques, he stepped forward to defend Carrie's right to perform. He pointed out that loads of top-tier country musicians hold conservative views or lean toward supporting that administration. Only they kept silent, letting Carrie absorb the backlash alone. He took to social media, challenging them to come out of hiding and show some solidarity. His stance highlighted a deeper problem in Nashville, the tug-of-war between wanting to please a broad audience and the growing demands of politically vocal fans. Some recalled the infamous fallout the Dixie Chicks faced for criticizing a past president, leading them to be shunned by country radio. Now, ironically, the script had flipped. Certain corners of the industry that once argued for free speech were now pushing to silence Carrie. Little did they know it was about to get even more heated. As the uproar surged, more critics lined up to take their shots. Hashtags demanding Carrie's cancellation trended on and off for days. Some sponsors reportedly grew uneasy about public backlash. People threatened to refund concert tickets, claiming they no longer recognized the artist they once adored. But for every critic howling for her downfall, new supporters came to her defense. They admired her refusal to cower. She didn't lash out at the haters. She kept the same calm, measured tone. While her management tried to do damage control behind
Country superstar Carrie Underwood has spent most of her career avoiding political talk, but she's set to perform at the upcoming inauguration. She said in a statement that she's doing it because the country must come together in the spirit of unity and look to the future. And lots of her fans aren't thrilled about it, but lots of her fans are. So let's put this in perspective here. What do y'all think?
I personally hope we're moving beyond the era of politics where we want to cancel people's livelihoods because we don't like their politics. And whether it was the Dixie Chicks for criticizing George Bush, didn't agree with it then, and Carrie Underwood, if you have a problem, you register your complaint by not downloading her songs and not going to her shows.
Right.
But I also think from a business standpoint, it's not a bad decision for Carrie Underwood. 75 million people voted for Trump. Artists tend to skew left-leaning, so she's overnight going to become an icon of MAGA and the American right. She's probably going to make a lot of money off of it. So I get why she did it.
I see.
Behind the scenes, Carrie herself seemed more interested in letting her music speak for her. And that was precisely the twist nobody expected. Instead of driving her into hiding, the controversy drew even more attention to her new albums and singles. Yet the real drama was just beginning to unfold. Beyond the political storm, Carrie Underwood's private life had already seen its share of speculation. She once endured a severe facial injury that required stitches, fueling all kinds of rumors about plastic surgery and deeper troubles. For years, media outlets whispered about friction in her marriage to former hockey pro Mike Fisher. None of it stuck because Carrie seldom addressed those rumors directly. She'd just smile, perform, and move forward. Then came this political uproar, which dwarfed all previous controversies combined. It forced Carrie into a position she wasn't used to, publicly responding to accusations that she was breaking the country apart. She didn't post raging replies or pick fights with the talk show critics. Instead, she continued emphasizing unity and love of country, aligning her stance with the same heartland values that built her career. No one expected what came next. A deeper irony emerged. Years earlier, many who raged against the Dixie Chicks for bashing up were accused of stifling free speech. Now, some of those same voices demanded Carrie Underwood be kicked off country radio for singing at an inauguration. Meanwhile, others who once praised artists speaking their minds pivoted to labeling Carrie as a bigot simply because she performed for a play opposed. Both sides claimed the moral high ground, but ended up exposing the messy double standard at the heart of cancel culture. Despite the uproar, Carrie's record sales surged. The attempted boycotts fizzled. Her name stayed in the headlines, attracting new audiences curious about what all the fuss was about. Sponsors couldn't ignore the fact that she was still a huge moneymaker. Instead of a meltdown, she saw a quiet surge in popularity. Still, Carrie refused to bow down. At every turn, Carrie Underwood has shown an unwavering commitment to her beliefs that she can sing for any and that
If you know the words, help me out here. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves. great.
That loving your country doesn't necessarily mean endorsing every political decision. Some fans parted ways with her, but the new ones who arrived admired her backbone. They saw a singer unafraid of the finger-pointing mob. When critics insisted she make a public apology, Carrie declined. When radio stations threatened to pull her music, she responded by letting the hits speak for themselves. Soon enough, most realized that attacking a woman for singing a patriotic anthem wasn't the winning look they'd hoped for. Over time, public fury cooled, and Carrie kept climbing charts, scoring awards, and expanding her brand. Her message stayed the same. If we truly believe in unity, maybe we should give each other space to hold different opinions without ending careers. That radical idea shook the foundations of cancel culture. Even after all the uproar, it's also worth noting that Carrie Underwood's philanthropic spirit never wavered. She continued her charitable endeavors with organizations like her own CATS Foundation, aimed at helping communities back in her home state of Oklahoma. Oddly enough, much of the heated discussion online seemed to skip over the fact that Carrie had long poured her time and resources into causes that transcend politics: disaster relief efforts, animal shelters, children's health initiatives. If people looked beyond the noise, they would see an artist who, despite the swirl of accusations, refused to let one performance redefine her entire identity. While the feuding voices on social media insisted on painting her as purely one thing or another, she doubled down on the positive actions that made her such a beloved figure in the first place. And in sticking to her ethical core, Carrie quietly demonstrated that an artist can maintain both professional integrity and personal convictions without capitulating to every public demand. But perhaps the most telling indicator of Carrie's enduring legacy is how her fan base has evolved in response to all this. Once the storm settled, countless supporters who discovered her music purely by chance found themselves captivated not just by her voice, but by her willingness to stand apart. Veteran fans, some of whom initially felt torn by her decision, found a renewed respect for the star they'd watched grow from a reality show hopeful into a bona fide trailblazer. In a sense, this entire ordeal transformed her from a safe, unassailable icon into a figure who embodies the complicated nature of public life. She's human, with genuine opinions, but she's also a performer whose day job is to unite people through music. Even as debates about who deserves a platform continue to rage on, Carrie's choice to sing anyway has become its own quiet declaration. You can honor your personal beliefs, express your patriotism, and still leave room for the diverse voices that make up America's cultural tapestry. Watching Carrie Underwood remain as one of the reigning queens of country music. So here we are. The frenzy over her inauguration performance shows how quickly social media warriors can turn on someone, and just how fast they can forget once the next outrage surfaces. But what's the real takeaway? Perhaps it's a reminder that genuine talent and authenticity still resonate, even when the internet tries to tear a person down. Carrie Underwood's story isn't just about one performance at one inauguration. It's about every artist or individual who dares to stand outside the safe boundaries of popular opinion. In a world that claims to celebrate free speech, she discovered how easily that celebration can vanish when you cross an invisible line. Yet her resolve proved one thing: when you hold fast to your convictions without slinging mud, people notice. And if her journey teaches us anything, it's that standing by your principles, even under fire, might just earn you more respect in the end. In an era when cancellation can happen in a snap, Carrie Underwood's triumph stands as a beacon for anyone whose voice is under siege. The critics roared, the tabloids feasted, and the social feeds swarmed. But ultimately, Carrie's choice to sing for her country proved too powerful for the cancel mob to silence. Maybe it's time we asked ourselves, do we really want to see every disagreement end in someone's downfall? Or is it possible to reach beyond our differences, just like Carrie tried to do, to find that sweet spot where unity and freedom of expression still shine?